Hi, my name is Aaron, this is my show Reeducation, and today I want to talk about something so vile, so disgusting, so unbelievably disturbing, something horrendous, obscene, terrible, something that is just unacceptable and deplorable, something that we have to talk about right now. What is that thing that I'm talking about, that I'm making such a big deal about right now? Of course, that thing is the recent episode of Epic Rap Battles of History. Unbelievable. Of course, this recent episode, as you all probably know, featured the Burger King facing off against Ronald McDonald in an epic rap battle that was, in the final hour, taken control of by the Wendys girl. The Wendys girl, you know, that wonderful, colorful character that we find on Twitter every single day, going out and giving us those quips. That adorable little waifu that we all know and love. She came in and she schooled both those fools and just completely wiped the grill clean. That's a joke. And the reason this stuck in my craw, the reason why I had to make this scathing review, was not because of the video itself. The video was amazing. It was incredible. And I mean, it made me feel things for these real characters that I just hadn't felt before. No, what really bothered me was the top comment on the video, which was from the Wendys girl, saying that she was very happy that she was able to come by and school these fools, but it wasn't what she said. Oh no. It was what one of the commenters had the audacity to come into that comment section and say to our queen, the Wendys girl. He said something along the lines of this: "This shit is capitalist propaganda at its finest." He just didn't understand. He just didn't realize that what's going on here is clearly a fight between characters that we know and love from our childhood, finally getting in the ring together, and finally we're able to see them clash. Like Superman versus Batman. It was fantastic. It was amazing. It felt like everything in my childhood was being reaffirmed to me in front of my eyes on the screen. And this monster had to come in and ruin it by assuming that this had something to do with determinant and recuperation. Unbelievable. Now, of course, I'm making a bit of a jest here. Of course, I'm blowing things out of proportion on purpose. I don't really give a shit about the Wendys girl or about Burger King or McDonald's. But what I do see is how this could be a good jumping off point for us to talk about something that is actually important. Like I said a moment ago, we're going to be talking about recuperation and determinant. And I'm sure I'm saying determinant wrong. Go ahead and tell me how I am in the comments section below. But first we're going to start with recuperation. And we're going to put this in the framework of the Wendys girl and her stature on Twitter. Now, Wendys, what exactly is it? Well, to most people, it's somewhere they can go and get a good old-fashioned burger and fries, maybe a shake, and also that they have this mascot that tends to be very controversial, I guess, on Twitter. The Wendys girl was for years depicted as just a regular girl, but now she has become something more of a sex symbol. I know that sounds really disgusting and weird because they are supposed to be a child, but that's kind of the aura that the Wendys Corporation has projected on this character. They've become somewhat of a sex symbol, but also happens to be someone that makes funny little quips and hot takes on Twitter, usually in the form of the old-fashioned Twitter beef. Don't worry about the pun, I did it completely unintentionally. So for years, Twitter was basically known as a place for people to go and bitch. It was a place for complaining. It was kind of like the internet comment section of a YouTube video or a Yelp review where people could come on and just spout off whatever crazy nonsense that they wanted. And in recent times, it's shifted more towards being political, just like basically everything has. Everything today, especially online, happens to be very polarized, politically polarized, and this opens up the opportunity for corporations to make more money. But how exactly would they do that, though? How exactly could you make money off of a Twitter beef? Well, there are many ways, and I've gone through a few of them before, but the one that we're going to focus on today is basically the idea of recuperating the Twitter beef itself, making it into something that can be used as viral marketing. So how exactly is this done? Well, it's pretty simple. Let's look at the basic beef on Twitter. It usually starts off with two generalized groups of people. Usually people on the left and people on the right. Somebody from the left or from the right makes a comment that is wrong to a bunch of people on that other side. And so when those people on the other side hear that thing that is wrong, they want to correct it. So they come in and do so, in which it starts a beef, a fight. Generally, an argument on Twitter that has the potential, if it's given enough gravity and given enough attention, to amass hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people's eyes. It could be left, it could be right, it doesn't matter. It's capitalism and it's recuperating something that started off as being an online Twitter war. They've created this Twitter persona, this persona that people want to engage with, a persona that people somewhat feel as though they can relate to. And since they are able to relate to that person, well, maybe they end up in the camp of Wendys, the one side of the Twitter beef. And then, when the Wendys girl goes and attacks someone like, say, the Burger King — I don't follow these idiots on Twitter, so I don't know if the Burger King has a Twitter handle, but it probably does. I mean, people see that this is making money, so they obviously want to capitalize on it. So she attacks the Burger King for having, I don't know, shitty burgers, whatever it is. So she attacks the Burger King on something that is basically surface level, and it creates somewhat of a controversy. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? The Twitter beef that just started between the Wendys girl and the Burger King. She's saying that they have shitty hamburgers, and they're saying that they have shitty hamburgers, and well, this isn't something that usual corporations do, and they don't usually quip and clap back at each other, especially in the ways that they do that seem so funny and hilarious. Well, now everybody has to make sure that they pay attention to this situation, and they have to give that attention to the corporations. As Peter Coffin often says, in the marketplace of ideas, attention is currency. And in this situation where so much attention is being given to that Twitter beef, of course it's going to make those people that are selling those burgers a lot of currency, because now people are talking about Twitter, people are talking about Wendys, people are talking about the Burger King, and they're talking about the beef, all the while spending their money at whatever establishment they think won the war, won that stupid little argument. All of these tactics that the Wendys girl is using to attack the Burger King happen to fall within internet culture. Being a sexualized anime character waifu clapping back at people on Twitter and giving hot takes is something that is a product of internet culture. And when it comes to recuperation, it's in the best interest of capitalists to take something that is the current mainstream culture and find a way to market it and sell it back to us. Recuperation is the process by which politically radical ideas and images are twisted, co-opted, absorbed, diffused, incorporated, annexed, and commodified within media culture and bourgeois society, and thus become interpreted through the neutralized, innocuous, or more socially conventional perspective. More broadly, it may refer to the cultural appropriation of any subversive work or ideas by mainstream culture. This simply is part of the spectacle. It plays in to the broader scope of how this illusion, this spectacle is concocted. When you pay attention to the Wendys girl and you think of her as this internet thing, this anime character, and not what they actually are, a multinational corporation that feeds you cancer and exploits its workers, then you are participating in the spectacle. You're allowing a simplistic marketing campaign to take advantage of you, make you take your hard-earned money and spend it on them. So you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's Orwellian and terrifying as all hell. And you'd be right. The idea that a corporation is able to manipulate and convince people all over the world that they are not, in fact, a multinational corporation feeding you cancer and trying to exploit its workers, but in fact is an anime character that is likely to be your friend, then that is something that we should be worried about, and something that we can fight against by using a rebellious form of subverting that media called deterrent. Deterrent is basically turning expressions of the capitalist system and its media culture against itself. And it's something that BreadTube has been doing very good at in the last few months. If you notice, Peter Coffin released a video recently where he was using Avengers characters to talk about how capitalism is flawed. He was taking something that was a capitalist idea, a very popular, very important capitalist idea, and twisting it around to have a socialist message. And of course, Angie Speaks was doing this recently as well, when she took the show Twin Peaks and twisted that around to have a more socialist message. And it happens to be something that one of my favorite YouTubers, Jack Saint, does with every one of his videos. He takes the video review platform, something that on YouTube has been used by multinational corporations to make a ton of money, and twists it around to find a way to give most movies basically a Marxist critique. It's fantastic, and you should check out all three of those YouTubers because their work is amazing. And to a certain extent, you could even say that this video is a form of deterrent. I'm going to be using capitalist imagery in the thumbnail, likely a picture of the Wendys girl or the epic rap battle of history event. I'm going to be editing the video around so it limits the amount of swearing I actually do throughout this content. And I'm going to be making this as advertiser friendly as I possibly can so I can game the algorithm and hopefully boost the amount of people that actually see this message. Essentially using a capitalist algorithm on a capitalist platform to promote a socialist message, using deterrent against their recuperation. At least that's the way I look at it. If you do get a chance, please check out my Patreon. Every dollar does help fund this show, and I really do mean that. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Aaron. Have a good day.